Very good, very good. Let's see, let's see. I think we are on. Let me just check with my team real quick. All right, we are live. We are live. Hello, Jim.
Hello,
Very good.
Tanya. Hello. Hello,
Let's get
everybody
this
that's joining today. This is
on.
going to be fun.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to turn something off. Okay, good, good. Now we on for good. All right, yes, Jim. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jim. I'm so excited to be here today and to have such an amazing guest today on my live.
Thank you. Well, I have such an amazing friend in you, Tanya. So it's been a long time. We've been around the world together, and I'm excited for this.
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, hello, hello. So, put hello in the chat. You have comments below this video, and yeah, we're live streaming to my YouTube channel, and it's going to be an exciting interview today. Okay, good, Jim. So, just to put you into context, our guest today, the audience today is people who are around the world, Russian speakers. They learn English, okay, and obviously English is a tool to, learn from very successful people and to connect with people around the world. And I mean, it's a tool. It's a tool for international
Yeah,
relationship.
I
That's
agree.
why yeah, exactly. So today we're going to be talking about your successful actions in life. I mean, you've been very successful. You have things to share, definitely. You have things to help people, and you've been helping me. You've been helping my family for over 10 years since we met. Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies.
Yeah, time flies.
Yes. So we're gonna do like an interview kind of mode, if you don't
Right.
mind. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, guys, so by the way, if you have questions, you can also put your questions in the chat and my team will forward those questions to me. All right, very good, very good. Okay, good. Jim, so my first question to you is, well, tell us a little bit about your background. Because I mean, I've seen people thinking, oh, people are successful. And I mean, first of all, let's start with what you have now and then going back, because it's not luck which brought you there, right? And we're going to be talking about it today. So tell us about your current situation, like your achievements, what you're actually proud of, what you're working on right now, and then we're going to be going back to, okay, how all this started, like what decisions you took on your way.
Okay, good. So, I mean, right now I've been the owner and founder of an energy company in America for 26 years. And that time does fly. I can't believe it. I mean, I can't believe I'm over 30 years old. So it's a joke. But 26 years in this business. And, when I started it, I was like, you know what? I'm sick of working for other people. I'm tired of making other people a lot of money. I was really good salesman. And I said, I need my own business. And it took a couple of years, but I got it started and I made $1 million. And I was like, I made it because so my background, I mean, right now I'm very successful. I help thousands and thousands of people around the world, do better in life and do better in their business. And my business just keeps, it's keeps growing. We're right now and just about to launch the biggest expansion in history. So I'm really excited. That's what keeps me young is that when you come up with new ideas and put them in place. But when I started out, I was the oldest of 5 kids, and my mom and dad worked really hard. And then I lost my dad when I was 15 in an accident, and I was like, I have to grow up now. I have to be an adult. I can't screw around. I was in high school, and I just knew that working hard. Sorry, that's my wife. That's the only person that actually rings on my phone. So I apologize for that.
No problem.
So I had to grow up fast, but all I saw around me was you worked really hard, you made just enough money to have debt and to feed everybody. I mean, I didn't have a lot growing up, so we were relatively poor kids, but I was happy. I have my mom loved us, my dad loved us. We lost our dad; it was a crushing blow, and then I was like, okay, I have to get a free college. How do I get a free college? I wanted to be an engineer. And I chose the U.S. Naval Academy because it doesn't cost you any money. It just costs you a big chunk of your life. So I had to do 5 years in the Navy. I learned a lot being in the Navy. I learned a lot being in high pressure situations underwater for months at a time. And when I got out of the Navy, I worked for the government, and I was like, no one works very hard, and it's you get enough money to survive. And I was kind of like, I got to quit. I got to do something different. So I got into sales, and I did. I increased my income. It's like, wow, I make twice as much money, but it's still not enough. And I was sitting around one day after I was working as a sales manager for different companies, and I made the owners a lot of money. And I was like, something's wrong. I'm still barely surviving, and I'm in debt over my head. And so in 1998, I said, that's it. I have to change. I have to do something different. And I looked at my wife, and we didn't have any kids yet. And then she got pregnant. Boy, talk about responsibility. I'm like, I have to change my life. And I was 38 years old. So there's hope. So I know we talk to a lot of younger people. I tell younger people, you are so lucky. You can change your mind now. You don't have to be stuck in this rut, like a life is never going to get any better. The famous Jack Nicholson movie, is this as good as it gets? This is it. I'm in debt. I'm drowning. I have kids to feed, my wife, and I got to make a car payment and a house payment. And I was living that life for 38 years, and I was like, that's it. And so when I decided to have my own business, I just all of a sudden I could see opportunities. And of course, the first thing that happened though when I said that's it, I got fired. I've never been. Someone said, "Get out, Posh Levon. You're gone." No, wait a minute. I made a decision to have my own business. I didn't mean to not have a job. Now my wife is pregnant. I'm in debt. I don't have a job. But I knew I would be successful. I just knew. I'd followed a lot of successful people, and I watched what they did, and I said, "Nope, I know this is just. I'm being tested. Can you survive the barriers?"
Nice. So I think we'll be. Let me just double check.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you.
Sorry, I talk too much.
That's no problem. In 5 minutes, I think you gave like very, very much of important information. I would like my audience to understand that. So first of all, like you didn't grow up in a family which would set you up for success. I mean, you were like what, 5 kids, right? 5 kids in the family. You lost your dad when you were 15. The family didn't have money for your education because in the United States, I mean, you have to pay for a higher education for college, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so you had to basically, make your own, what you call this in English, like make your own way, make your own life kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what decisions you think, so it took you up to 38 years old to realize that you actually need to be independent from, but there's something I noticed in your speech. When did you start selling? Like, how old were you when you started in sales?
I quit. I'm getting feedback. So can you hear the feedback, or is it okay?
No, that's okay.
All right, good. So I quit my government job when I was 29 years old. So almost 30. And I was like, okay, I'd found my wife. I'd found the girl I want to be with, but I didn't have a job I was happy with. And I really hated my job so much. I hated to get out of bed. And so I talked to a friend and I learned how to sell. And then I went out and I was good at it and I doubled my income. So I was almost 30 years old. And now I was like, wow, I'm not limited, kind of. But then I found out you get limited because you're not the boss. So I would start making more money and the boss would change how much I got paid. So I don't like that. So I quit and I tried something else. The same thing happened again. I invest 5 years of my life thinking I'm going to, get rewarded for. I tripled the owner's income and he's a millionaire. I tripled his income. My income stayed almost the same. And I said, okay, for 5, 6 years, I'm getting older and I'm not getting smarter. So I have to be I have to learn more about how to expand my life. And that's really, expansion is the key to life. And it's how do you expand it? Well, look at other successful people and say, what do they do? Look at the most successful people you and I know. They didn't have anything to start with. And some people way worse off than me, but they decided to change their life.
Okay, good. So basically, like, because your company right now is also based on a lot of, I mean, any business is based on sales. Like you have to be able to sell. Sure. Yeah, every business. But would you say that learning sales in some part of your career and actually be successful at it helped you to make this decision, okay, I'm starting my own business? Like, would you say this was a key decision to make, to go into sales before that?
Oh yeah, I tell you, learning to sell, because every great business owner is selling their idea. They're selling themselves, whether they're selling to investors or customers or to the employees. I mean, I have to constantly sell my vision to my employees. So if you can learn the basics of sales, it's a powerful tool, you know. And I have a funny story. I first went to Russia to speak in 2011, and when I was there, I met this wild Russian Navy captain who, I was saying, well, I was chasing Russian submarines all over the world, and he goes, I was hunting you in 1985, and I was like, okay. And I said, what do you do now? He goes, I've been teaching salesmen for 20 years. And I go, really? And I said, me too. And then when we shared our ideas, what I studied so many different sales experts, and I didn't agree with everything they said, but I would take what worked for me and what I thought was best. And I found out that this guy, Andrei Sizov, he thought exactly the same way I did. And I'm going, wait a minute, I'm American, you're Russian. We're supposed to be different. No, we're like brothers. We're the same. And we had the same idea about how to take care of customers. And that's why we wrote a book called Ending the War Between Salesmen and Customers. And it's our successful actions from a combined 65 years of experience of sales.
Wow. So I know you sell this book on Amazon. Like, do you have it on your website, or where can my audience get a hold of this book?
Yeah, it's on my website. You can click on a link. It goes to Amazon, and it's the English only version. So
yeah, it's totally fine. That's why we're learning English. Everybody from my audience is actually, moving towards speaking English confidently, because that's it's not just freedom around the world, it's actually freedom to get information and study from the best of the experts. So, okay, guys, after today's live, we will put all the links below this video so you can get access to whatever Jim has been referring to. Sounds good?
And I'm pretty easy to find.
Yes, but we'll make sure there are all the links so everybody can.
So I want to say one thing, Tanya, that's I think is one of the most basic keys in success in business. And we're touching on it here with learning English. Why learn English? Because, 1,000 years ago, the common language of all of the business people in the world was like Latin. And then it was French, and then it was kind of like it's morphed for a while to be, we always had translators in every different conversation. And now English, look at India, predominantly English speaking country. You go to South Africa, you can speak English everywhere. A lot of countries around the world, English is the second language. And if you want to do business, you have to be understood. And let's face it, translators are great, but sometimes when you're in a business deal, one bad translation can cost you $1 million.
Yep. Okay, that's good you're bringing this up, because you've been having you have connections around the world. Like, how many countries have you been to? A lot, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I lost track.
Yeah, I believe you. Like, I had a hard time counting myself, but I'm like, okay, keeps counting, keeps piling up. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, you not just visited those countries, you actually have connections, network, potential business partners, somebody you did business with.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. When you actually start dealing with people from different cultures, what things would you be looking at? Like, what's important to take into consideration. I mean, obviously you need to speak a common language, which is English. I mean, that's obvious. If you go to Mexico, you're going to speak English with those guys. If you're going to go to Russian speaking countries, you're going to be speaking definitely not Russian with these guys, right? Yeah. So, but rather than that, like, what would be also important to take into consideration when you deal with people from different cultures?
Well, I think you have to, what I always do when I go to a different country is I learn several phrases in their language, because you want to have that feeling of, okay, I have warmth and I can trust this person. And because if I'm willing to learn another person's language, it shows that I am extending my efforts to try to really understand. And I found it to be very, very successful. I mean, my first day in Russia, when I got on stage, I said, "Ya очень rad, vidiet vas," and everybody went, "Oh." And then I said, "Okay, that's all I know. That's all. I'm sorry, that's all I know." You know, I know 100 words in Russian now. You know, but that broke the ice, and so the willingness to learn someone else's culture is important. When I was in South Africa, I studied, you know, what religious beliefs they had and how they did this and how they did. So when I was meeting with 10 South African kings to talk about programs we could put in for their children, you know, that literacy programs and things to help in South Africa, I earned the king's trust because I understood what they believed. And that just takes a little bit of research. You know, it's so important. Researching your customer, researching your competition, researching, you know, your industry. A little bit of knowledge goes a long way. So that's important. Right. That's $1 million tip right there, right? Multi-million dollar tip.
Well, it's true. It's true. So guys, very important to actually learn about, you know, people you're going to be dealing with, their cultures, their traditions, what's important to them. And it's actually funny because every time my husband starts to speak Russian, people just, you know, they love it. They love it. Like he just, you know, he is doing the same thing. He's like, every time he's meeting my family or, you know, like friends of mine or clients, he's like, "Привет, как дела?" It's just like, wow, okay, I love this guy. And this is true. This is true. It's just like, it doesn't take much, but it's just so powerful. You know, it's kind of grants another person importance. It's like,
yes,
shows respect, you know, shows like you actually took time to understand these people, you know, and obviously language and traditions, this is something super important.
And let me share this one tiny little thing that shows this. I got invited to talk to the CEO, the chief operating officer of a $1 billion company. And so I did not look him up on social media because I'm thinking he's the chief operating officer of a $1 billion company. This guy probably doesn't even know about Facebook. And this was like 10 years ago. And so I show up at this important meeting to pitch my, you know, ideas to him. And he goes, "Did you look me up on social media?" And I was like, I was floored. No. And he looked at me like, "You didn't look me up on social media?" And I'm telling you, I lost the deal because I did not look at his Facebook and I didn't look at his Instagram, and he showed me, but by then I could tell he backed away from me. And I was like, oh my God, 5 minutes. All I had to do is look his name up on Facebook and Instagram take 5 minutes and go, "Wow, this guy is cool." And then I could have said that and I might have won a multi-million dollar deal there. And so you learn from your mistakes, I hope. I mean, I've learned from my mistakes, trust me. So that's a little tiny thing.
Yeah, exactly. It takes like, okay, you open up social media of a person, you see maybe he likes golfing, and you instantly see what's common between you, right? Like you also like golfing. Like every weekend, I love to see your stories with your friends, and you know, this is amazing. And this is already, you know, builds the ground for conversation. And I mean, immediately a person is gonna, you know, breaks the ice. It's gonna break the ice, and the person's gonna trust you. Okay, guys, so how are you liking today's conversation, guys? Put something in the chat. We're seeing your chat, so it would be nice to hear from you. Is it useful? Okay, put useful in the chat if that's been useful for you, because I'm just running through the questions you guys suggested, and I mean, I appreciate Jim being here and actually taking time to share his valuable experience. Oh my God, you know, I'm actually super excited. Yes. Okay, Jim. So let's move on. Let's move on. So we spoke about your first actions. So your first actions was actually learning sales, you know, to be able to see how the business, because obviously sales is like driving force for the business. Like you can have any amazing idea, but if you cannot sell, I mean, come on, this is not really. And my observation personally, and it's my personal experience, that business owners need to be the best salespeople. Like just because you said that, right, as well. We need to sell the ideas to the customers, to the employees, you know, to the investors. And it's like, yeah, it just starts from there.
Yeah. And I think the common, you know, the common word that people don't understand is sales. Because I didn't like salesmen, because I thought, bless you, I thought all salesmen were liars and cheats because they're always pressuring you to do something. I was like, oh, well, that's not a great salesman. A great salesman really learns what the other person needs, and then they find a way to communicate how they can help fill the need. And if you can help people get what they need and want, that is the essence of salesmanship, is being in good communication with the person, finding out exactly what they need, and then showing them how you can supply what they really want. And at that point, that's sales. And when you get common understanding, people go, oh, okay, perfect. You know, this is what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that. So you guys will get the link to the book. You know, I highly recommend to read Jim's book on sales. It's one of the best books I've ever read on sales. And next decision was, okay, I'm going to build my life, you know? So basically from what I understood, your life got to a point when you had a pregnant wife, a lot of debt, and you're like, okay, I need to change something. It was like more like of a change moment, right?
Yes.
Need of change, kind of like. And okay, so usually the first year or 2 years in the business are the most difficult for entrepreneurs. So what helped you get through those difficulties in the first year? Because I mean, obviously you start doing something, it doesn't work, and then you try some other way, it doesn't work. So what motivated you to actually break through all those barriers?
Well, in the beginning, it's pure survival. You're like, okay, I started, I had a great idea. I started, I failed. And after 1 month, I failed. I started again. I failed. I failed 3 times. And 3 months into this idea of having my own business, and I had a business partner, I was going, I'm not going to be able to feed my child. So for me, the raw energy was, I am going to survive. I'm going to be successful. And every day I'd wake up and I would go in, and then with customers, I'm like, I don't show the customers my fear or my tension. I have to let that all go when I walk in the door and sit down at my desk, because I now have to be like totally confident. So sometimes they say, fake it till you make it. I was like, I'm not going to die. I'm going to succeed. But I don't share all that with my customers or my clients. I don't share the bad stuff. I have my wife. We share the bad stuff with each other, and then we can make each other feel better. My friends are for that. So I just pushed. I said, I won't fail, period. I will succeed. And so that it took to start something takes a lot of energy. And then when it's going, you can't relax because you get going. I started making a lot of money, and I'm looking over there and doing this stuff. And I looked, oh my God, it started crashing. So I had to make it through a lot of trouble the first 2 years, but it was worth it. Oh my God. It's worth it. When you win and you get stabilized and you start training people to do certain things you did, and you start to build a team of people who care about the business, and you reward the people who do the best. And that's important. Rewarding, like my salesman, my top sales, there's no limit. I said, I don't care how much money you make. I'm not changing your percentages. And I have guys that make a lot of money that work for me, because I know that if I keep rewarding the best, other people will follow up in their footsteps, because they're not worried about getting cheated by the owner. That's the problem. You don't take your best guys. You have to treat your best people like your life depends on it, which is true.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's actually brings me to the next question, because obviously to build a business empire, to build a successful life, because you have also amazing marriage, 2 kids, you have to understand and know how to like which people to trust, like what people to trust, what partners to be with. And I know you've had a lot of experience in that, like, both good and bad, and obviously that brought you to some conclusions in life. So now I would really, really ask you to look at, okay, if you were now like 38 years old and you just started, what advice, like 3 key advice, would you give to yourself at that age, how to see if you can trust a person, like what you need to look at specifically to understand, okay, this is a good person for a partnership, or this is a good person to work in a team, or this is a good friend, like, because it's basically pretty much the same thing, right? It's just in different life areas. So I think that would be very, very much interested. Like, what advice would you give to yourself?
Well, I would look at business. It's so your own business is so close to a family. So if you have a business partner, it's like you're married to them. And so if you're going to go into a long-term relationship, you need to know whether or not the person you're dealing with is honest. And the only way, having now survived a lot of different crazy situations over the last 25 years of my own business, the key thing is, does a person do what they say they're going to do? Number one, if a person says, okay, I'll be there at 5, are they there at 5? And if they're 5 minutes late and they go, look, I'm really sorry I was 5 minutes late, this happened, but I'm here. Okay, good. I mean, it's happened to all of us. But if it happens every time, you start to see a pattern where a person's always late, they're not going to be that honest with you. And the other thing is, if a person says, I can do this, you go, great, here, do it. You have to watch. Can they do it? Do they need more training? And, do they need your help? And then after a while, can they do it on their own without you looking? And you have to go back and check on people. I'm sorry, no matter who it is, if you give someone a job, you must, as the owner, be willing to look into the area and say, did they do what they say they were going to do? And you have to get rid of people who constantly don't do what they say they're going to do. And you have to just say, I love you. You're going to have to go work somewhere else, because this is a company. I need people that are going to do what they say they're going to do. And I think the other thing is the truth. Actions speak louder than words. I've had a lot of people make me a lot of promises. I don't even listen to people give me promises anymore. I said, okay, here's what I need. Can you do it? Yes. And they, I promise. Okay. Just show me. Show me that you can do it. And then the ones who can do it, I hold to me like gold. These are really good people. They can do what they say they do. And then I reward them and I give them more responsibility. And then I keep trying to find other people to do that with. And it's really, honest to God, I mean, there's one rule. Can you do what you said you're going to do? Period. And people around you, you have friends. Okay, I'll back you up. I'll be there. I'll do this. I'll do that. And they don't. And I tell people, keep a logbook, This person promised me this. This person promised me this. Okay, good. Now, did they do it? Yes or no? Well, this person's promised me 5 times they're going to do something. They don't do it. Okay, guess what? Quit wishing things were different. This is where business owners can't afford to go, well, maybe he'll change. No. After 3, 4 times of lying to you and promising things, that's who they are. That's it. And if you build your business on those kind of people, you're going to fail. Guaranteed going to fail. You have to find people that will do what they say they're going to do, and don't wish people were different. And it's kind of like, I mean, I know some marriages like this. Well, I wish he would change. Hey, baby, you married him 30 years ago. He ain't changing. That's how he is. You got to look. I told my wife, I said, honey, I'm sorry. I'm not like you. We're perfectly matched. We're completely opposite in 7 different areas, which are great because it's the things I don't like she's good at. And so we make a perfect whole, which is how a good marriage, like you and Laurent, it's how it is. Like, you don't do everything Laurent does. I know what Laurent does. And I'm going, guy's a genius. I can't do what Laurent does, nor do I want to. But you got to have both pieces of the pie. So anyway.
Exactly.
Key datum.
Yeah. Amazing. So basically, to boil it down to like specific key points is like you don't listen to what the person says. You actually take time. You don't rush into any partnership or friendship or, you know, especially marriage, if you haven't seen that the person actually can provide and can do what he's saying he's going to do.
Yeah.
So with employees, same thing. Like, you don't look at what impression they give to you on the interview. You're like, okay, good. So this is like the training period, like 1, 2, 3 months, whatever. So that's your target. You know, show me you can do it. And only then you can actually make them a part of your team. Is that something, you know, you would say is correct?
It's totally correct. And it's totally true in relationships, friendships, business. I've had people I met and I go, oh my God, they're wonderful. Instantly, they're wonderful. And I made the mistake of then investing, giving them money, giving them my time. And then I find out, oh, okay, they weren't that wonderful. So some people have a beautiful first impression that is so amazing that you go, oh, they're going to be awesome. I'm going to hire them at the highest. No, I'll never do, I've done it a few times. I'll never do it again. I've lost millions of dollars on mistakes like this, but luckily I've made more millions. So it's like, you want to get to a point where you can have experiences. Don't be too hard on yourself. We've all done it. Tanya and I, we've bled, you know, we've made mistakes. We're walking around going, what happened to you? I don't know. I hired the wrong guy.
Oh, this is so true. This is so true. And I mean, Jim, as far as I understand and as far as I see, like that's exactly what you've been sharing on your YouTube channel, right? Like these kind of tips, like short videos on specific subjects. Yeah. Would you expand on that a little bit? And we will share the link, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I try to share my successful actions. I think the key thing was once I became successful and I was no longer poor, at first I was just so happy. So for like 3 or 4 years, I was just like, I'm still not poor. I have all this extra money. I mean, I gave half of my money away to charity because I didn't need it to live for me. And my wife's like, yeah, go ahead. And like, and so then at first I was like, oh, is this going to go away? And I went, no, for 26 years, I've been successful. I've donated millions and millions and millions of dollars to a lot of different things around the world. I've, gotten to the point where I was like, and after about, I think 5 years, I was like, I need to help other people. This is too good to keep to myself. I want other people to feel how I feel. And that's really been my motivation for the last 20 years. I just want to help other people. I was poor and had nothing. I was drowning in debt. I thought I was going to die. And here I am going, I didn't die. I'm doing pretty good. I got a Maserati. I can fly anywhere in the world I want to. That's freedom. I want others to have the same freedom. So these little short things I do are like one little piece. If you just look at this and maybe you'll change your mind for your life to go, I want to be bigger. I want to do more. I want to be free from the economic stranglehold that a lot of people have. Hope I wasn't too emotional, but.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect. So well done on having a YouTube channel, and we're gonna post a link so everybody can take advantage of that. Because I mean, your tips are amazing. You know, I love watching your videos. Okay, good. So, Jim, good you brought something up. Like a lot of my students are people who actually, in their 40s, in their 50s, some of them 60s and 70s even, and then they go like, okay, I'm in a part of my life when I need change. Like I feel like I need to create more, kind of like more freedom for myself, more choice for myself in life. Like, I mean, come on, look at what's been happening in the last 3 years around the world, especially now. The world. So I mean, obviously people are like, okay, something needs to change, like I need to create something for my life, right? But a lot of them, from what I see, have this doubt or self-doubt or some kind of like thing, okay, maybe it's too late, I'm like 45 or I'm like 55, what can I do, maybe it's so what would you say to these people? Because I mean, it just takes some extra probably motivation to see, okay, you know, a lot of people change their lives in their 50s and their 40s and their 60s. It's just, you know, it takes a specific mindset. So what have you observed in these kind of case scenarios?
It's never too late. It's never too late to start a new life and have a new idea. So first of all, that is never too late. And you see kids now making $1 million when they're 22. And now, so the youth are like going, she can do it, I can do it. And as for us, I'm 60, I just turned 63. And I have more energy today, I think, than I did 20 years ago, because I'm successfully helping people grow and achieve what they want. So I know that it's never too late. Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken fame wasn't successful till he was almost 70. Now, he's not here anymore, so he's not seeing what his name is around the world, but he didn't quit. And I guarantee you that guy had a fun, 10 or 20, 30 years with all the money he had. But really, it's not the money. The measurement of happiness is not the money. It's whether you can dream a dream and then put that dream out into the world and see other people going, yeah, that's a good dream. That's a good dream. That's a good idea. And, you don't have to be a billionaire to be happy. And you don't have to measure your success against anybody else in the world. But I guarantee you, if you have an idea that you love to do and you doubled your income, happiness, well, I deal in happiness. I think happiness is the real commodity. I think everybody would like to just be happier. I love my wife. I love my kids. My kids don't listen to me. If my happiness depended on my kids listening to me, I'd be miserable. I just said, hey, it's your life. You're old enough. Do what it is that makes you happy. Don't worry about whether I'm happy with it. It doesn't matter. So the happiness is, are you doing what you like to do every day? Are you making enough money so you don't worry about the bills? And that's what I think, Tanya, you and I both kind of have a common goal. We want to help our friends be as happy as we are. I know Tanya's happy. Every time I talk to Tanya, it's like, sunshine. I go, give me some sunshine.
yeah, we are very much alike in this kind of like purpose, for sure, to make people happy, to help them achieve their goals. And you can choose anything you want, how you do it, but that's like the bottom line is, okay, are you helping other people? Like, yes. It's definitely, I think, my personal belief, if you want to be more happy, start helping more people. It's just like, stop thinking just about yourself. Like, how can it, what's that?
It works.
It works. Exactly. Okay, amazing, Jim. I love it. Actually, very good you bring this up, because I mean, a lot of, if you look up in the internet, a lot of coaches and like kind of successful people, like whatever, quote unquote, they go like, okay, money, like you need to be making money. But you brought up a very interesting subject, that it's actually happiness we're looking for. And not all the people want to have money as a indicator for their success. It's just like each person needs to understand what for him subjectively happiness means. Would you would you say that?
Totally agree. And you can expand that. Like one of my best friends, he has enough money. He drives a Porsche, but he's not driven by money. He runs a charity in Africa where they have orphanages, and his expansion is the number of kids he's helping. His wealth is that he's gone from helping like 3 kids to 30,000. So for him, it's the number of lives that he's, and because it doesn't take a lot of money, he has a lot of volunteers. He has sold the vision to a lot of people in South Africa. Then what he does is he uses his connections with businesses to send food, just food, not money, food to South Africa, because they need to eat. These kids are starving. So for his happiness factor and his expansion factor is the number of children that he helps. And I respect this guy. I love this. One of my best friends. And, I look at him and I go, see, you don't have to be a multimillionaire, billionaire to be happy. You have to be doing something you love and helping other people in some way, and then get good friends around you. Like I mean, Tanya and we don't talk for months. The next thing I know, we're talking, and it's like we never stopped. From the first time we got together, we've literally helped each other create our dreams, helped other people use our experience, and we just want to help you be happier, more successful, and if you need to change your mind, if you're in a space that you don't want to be in. And this is where I always say, get out of your comfort zone. So here's a guy who left Michigan because it's too cold, and here I am doing cold plunges. Then after the first one, which was terrifying, I'm like, this is really good. I mean, it's still a little uncomfortable, but I do it, 5 nights a week. I'm in 45, 50-degree water going 9 minutes. I do 9 minutes and I get out and my toes are numb and I think, okay, good. And then I'm alive. I'm more alive today. Thanks.
Well, amazing, Jim. So yeah, that's awesome. Like basically, like the age is not a barrier. Like it's just you need to understand what would you if we went to specifics, like what would you recommend? Okay, do 1, 2, 3 to actually understand what you want. Like what would you say? Let's say a person like, yeah, I feel like something is wrong. I feel I need change. Okay, what would be 3 steps any person would have to do? I would start with something like, me personally, okay, what is your goal? Like what are you trying to achieve? Like what has always been your dream? Maybe something a person really wanted like 20 years ago but got whatever, life happened.
Yeah, so
you just didn't achieve that. Probably start from there. What would your advice be?
Number one is definitely, I think people get failures, like they really wanted something, they couldn't have it or couldn't get it, and they go, oh, I'm done. Life is over for me. No. It's never over. It's never over. The most powerful thing you have is your mind and your ability to create an idea. That is, and it doesn't depend whether you're in perfect physical shape or not. If your mind, if you're, as long as you don't do drugs and don't drink too much alcohol, I mean, don't do things to mess up your mind, because your mind is your most valuable asset. And what you dream of, you can eventually achieve. So the first step is ask yourself, what makes you happy? What thing that you could do that helps other people? Because I mean, yeah, people go, well, what makes me happy is drinking alcohol. Okay, well that's going to get you nowhere but an early grave. So what do you like to do? What makes you get up in the morning going, oh, I can't wait to go to work? That goal is what you got to figure out, number one. And number two, who's around you? This is the second. Maybe sometimes your goals are being crushed by the person right next to you. Every time you go, oh, I really want to do this, person goes, oh, that's stupid. Why would you do that? So if you're surrounded by people who are telling you can't be what you want, you can't do what you want, you can't have anything, you can't grow, you have to change that environment. And the environment is the people around you. And you got to start writing down by name and put pluses or minuses, next to them until you see, okay, this guy's all minuses, this guy's all, mostly pluses, a couple minuses. And then who keeps crushing your dream? Well, you aren't going to achieve a dream if you keep someone next to you who's crushing your dream. Every time you think a thought out loud, like, I would really love to do that. That's stupid. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm going to just stay miserable. No, you don't have to stay miserable. So the third thing is then get outside. Sometimes people are just stuck in one place, and I mean physically in one place, whether it's their home or their office or their home and office, and they don't go anywhere else. Force yourself to go to a park or a lake or somewhere and walk around and look at things bigger than you. Big mountains, big sky, big trees. I don't care. Go. This will actually help you then see what your goal is, because sometimes we're too closed in, we can't see. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, a lot of sense. Okay. And would you agree that also investing in yourself would be something which definitely will help?
Number 4.
Every time, yeah, exactly. Like every time I find myself like, okay, I feel like I'm getting lost a little bit, like getting lost in everything what's going on in life, especially if the kind of life happens to you, in a big way. Like I'm going every time, okay, so which video I need to watch, which course I'm gonna take, like what I want solved. Like there is, I think, my husband and I, we have this rule in our family that we study every day. We just study every day. And it's yesterday was really funny because my husband, went to read a book. He's like reading a book on a specific subject right now. And he's like, are you coming? I'm like, no, I'm wrapping up some work. He's like, well, if you don't come now, you won't gonna make it today. Can you wrap it up in 10 minutes and come? And I actually, yeah, that's right. And we are helping each other to make sure not a day passes without us learning something new. And then in the evenings, we sit down and we discuss what we learned. And this is how we finish the day. What we learned and how we're going to apply it. And I mean, I think this is one of the best things you can do to, that's why my students, they actually take at least like half hour, 1 hour every day to study a language, to study the English, because this is something which is creating their future. This is like they're building themselves to be a better version of themselves in the future. So right. Yeah, that probably will be my last question to you. What would you say about that?
I think I take it for granted because I'm so used to learning constantly, whether I find articles on the internet or, I mean, I have my own books here that I just, I do some courses. And here's something I learned. In order to learn to speak English correctly, you have to keep practicing. The same thing. Look, I couldn't say zdravstvuyte for a year. Couldn't say the word. My lips would not make that word. And my Russian friends would laugh. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. No, give me a different word. That one's to it. Privyet. Okay, good. I can say privyet. Zdravstvuyte? Come on. And my wife is Taiwanese. There's some Chinese language. I'm like, I have no clue what you just said. And he said it 10 times in a row. So practicing something, including reading something like, I mean, I've read this book 10 times. This is just about, some key lessons in life. And I go through it again. And sometimes I read something I read 2 months ago and I read it again. I go, and I have a new idea. It's amazing that reading the same thing over again. Well, I already read that book. No, I'm telling you, I've read this book 9 times. And on the 9th time, some sentences that I know I've seen 8 times before, but I read the sentence and I go, this means something completely new to me. And it changes my outlook. And again, your most powerful tool is your ability to think and see and perceive and plan. So this all comes from making your mind exercise. So if you're practicing English and you practice. So what if sometimes I look like an idiot in Russia when I say the wrong thing in Russian? Everybody laughs, but I don't care. I said, well, how do I say it right? And then I go, bling. I had to learn that one, right? And I was like, okay, practicing makes you perfect. And you never stop practicing. I'm 63 years old. I'm still practicing at life. I want to get better. I want to help more people. I want to get better at what I do. And, my wife and I were studying together last night. She goes, what do you think about this? And I go, what do you think? And we were going back and forth on this one concept of how do we interact with this other group that we're trying to help? And our studying is aimed at a specific application in life. That makes sense?
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what I think it should be. Like, you don't just study randomly. It's actually, your study needs to be targeted to your life goals. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, and you're basically looking for solutions. Yeah, you're looking for better ways to think. And I loved your quote right now, and I'm going to quote you with your permission, that like, your best ability is your ability to think, to plan. Like, that's something you would have to create and invest in.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if you learn a language. It does influence your ability to think, to interact with more people. It increases your abilities. If this is sales, I mean, you will start to have ideas. How can you sell your product and stuff like that? I mean, it's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, Jim, I think we're going to be wrapping up for today. And I mean, I'm super appreciative of you coming today, and your time is so valuable. And on behalf of all my students and my followers, we really thank you. And we hope to see you in one of our lives soon, okay? Because I think I didn't even get through half of the questions that my audience asked me to ask.
Okay. Well, we could do that next time.
Yes, next time. We'll definitely let everybody know. Okay, guys, so I hope you like it. Please put your comments below. What was the most useful for you? What you're going to apply? Because, I mean, we're doing this for you. We're here to help more people. We're here to make sure that you your ability to think and your ability to make decisions are, is improving. And guys, study English. Okay, study English. That's one of the tools which will give you access to people like Jim. And we're gonna post all the links, by the way, for Jim's channel, so you can connect. And yeah, I mean, it's been super valuable for me and changed my life, the way that I speak English. And I mean, Jim, just yesterday, me and you, we were saying like, okay, so many Russian speaking people moved to Florida, and the first thing Jim told all those guys need to study English because their English is not sufficient enough.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, man, I have been promoting this idea for over 10 years. And unfortunately, people need to actually get to a situation when they already in the country and they cannot do business and they are like, what do I do now? Like, why would you do that to yourself? I mean, just start creating your future today. And by the time you get to a point in life when an opportunity shows itself, you're ready.
Yes.
Like, yeah, that's I think is the best approach.
1 hour a day to invest in yourself. It can make all the difference in the world. And it may take a year, it may take 6 months. Some people are faster, slower. It doesn't matter. Again, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Compare yourself against how you were yesterday to today to tomorrow. And you'll be happier that way because you're just trying to improve yourself.
All right, Jim. Thank you so much. Yes, have a nice day. We're going to be seeing you. And again, thank you very much for joining us today.
See you guys later. Thank you, guys.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for all your feedback in the chat. I see that. And yeah, so if today's message inspired you, please let us know about it. Leave your comments, leave your feedback. And also, I have posted a link, and you will see the link in the chat. If you need a consultation from one of my members on your English progress, go ahead, sign up using this link, okay? All right, very good, guys. Have a nice day. And Jim, by the way, I see here, so a lot of people saying thank you. It was very useful. Okay?
Oh, thank you. Awesome.
Yes. Bye, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.